Okay, my dear children, today we will be starting with one very important and very interesting lesson. The name of the lesson is the Browning version. The Browning version. This lesson was published in the year 1948. Knowing this year is very important, then we can get to know about the kind of the social atmosphere that prevailed in the particular time when this play was written. Therefore, this is the year of the publication and it was 1948. So, my dear children, knowing the significance of the title is very important, because when you know the significance of the title, then we know the heart of the matter. We know the heart of the matter. So, here the title here is the Browning version. So, we have started with this lesson number 6. Lesson from the Hornbill. So the title is the Browning version. Means here you see, my dear children, this version means what? Version means the translation. You see, translation. Now who translated what? So this translation is made by Browning, and this is the modern form of the classic drama written by Aeschylus, and the name of the drama was Agamemnon. My dear children, so when you get the opportunity, you will read this particular drama, and this drama is Agamemnon, written by Aeschylus. So Aeschylus, here you see, Agamemnon was a particular character, and he was cheated by the wife. He was cheated or deceived by the wife. Name of the wife was Clytemnestra. Clytemnestra was the wife and cheated very badly, and more particularly what happened, the wife murdered the husband. So in the original one, what we find, the wife Clytemnestra murdered Agamemnon. So from there is the Browning version, and this is the modern form of Agamemnon, and this is written by Terence, Ratigan, and this was published in the year 1948. Therefore, my dear children, so first let us see the significance of the title, and after that we will be going to the major character, and then we will get to know about the gist of the lesson. We'll go to the summary of the lesson, and then directly we'll be going to the MCQ, multiple choice question, and then what we'll do, we'll be elaborating the multiple questions, and there will be 30 in number. Therefore, let us continue. So the title, this play is the Browning version, and this is the title. Browning version is the first direct reference to the fact that the text is an adaptation. So my dear children, you see, A-D-A-P-T, adapt. Adapt means what? You are adapting yourself, means what? You are making yourself suitable. That means that this one is the adaptation, means this one is a translation. This one is a translation of the original drama or the play named Agamemnon, written by Aeschylus. And here also we see the theme of deception, the theme of cheating, and more particularly this theme of cheating or the deception is less prominent or less dominant than what? Then the criticism made by teacher by another student about another teacher. So here we will find 4 major characters, 3 characters are seen, and another character is unseen. He is there in the background, but he is very dominant. Okay, therefore we'll be continuing with that. Now let us see the see the lesson. So this is the original text. Let us see the text now. Here we go. Let us see the text. So in the original text, my dear children, so there are many new words. There are many new words. Words form your vocabulary. When you find new words, you try to make the use of it in your own sentence. Then your vocabulary also will be increased, and you will also have the beautiful expressive power. Therefore it is said that word is wisdom. Word is what? Wisdom. Therefore, first let us learn the word. So let us see what are the different words. One is remove. Now see, my dear children. So normally what we use a remove. Remove, this is a useless verb, but here this is used as noun. This remove here means what? Not act of removing, but this one is the great. This is the great or the passing certificate. Passing certificate. Passing certificate or the great. That means this is the promotion. 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 Remove is the promotion. Slackers means what? Slackers means those particular children. So in a class there are 40 students, and among the 40 students, some few students will be very slow. They will be very slow, means they will be not very much attentive. They will not be getting good marks or perform well in the examination. That means they are not motivated. They are not motivated. So those students are called the slackers. So mark means what? Mark means something very worthless. Worthless means what? Not having value. Not having value means they are just like the dirt, or like the dust, or like what is called rubbish. Rubbish. Something very rubbish. Now see again, you see cut. So if you using this has been cut, then three forms of the verb will be cut, cut, cut. But here it is not used as verb. Okay. So it is not a cutting. Okay. But here it is a use as noun. Means the act of ending. Okay. Act of ending means it is also called bunking. 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 Okay. Then let us see, got carried away. So when you get carried away, so you get carried away by the emotion. That means when you are telling something or describing something, when you are extremely emotional, then you do not know the reason. Okay, you cannot put the control or the brake. That is called getting carried away. Kept in, see, this one is a phrasal verb. Okay, kept in phrasal verb. Verb plus preposition is called a phrasal verb. So kept in here means keeping somebody, okay, keeping somebody back into the school in order to give some extra work as a measure of punishment. So इसको और मतलब क्या बोलते हैं? GROUND, grounded. Yeah. You write all of the meaning of the word. You write all of the meaning that I have told. Then it will be very better. Okay. Now another term is sadist. Okay. Another term is sadist. So who is a sadist? Sadist is a person who actually gives pains. Okay. Give pains to others and derives pleasure out of it. Pleasure out of it. That means when you are giving pain to other people, and then when you are deriving pleasure from it, then you are called the sadist. That means this is a negative word. This is a negative word. Therefore, it is called sadist. Now, another word is shriveled up. Shriveled up. इसका बहुत सारे मीनिंग होता है. So, इसका मीनिंग होता है मतलब एक तो होता है मतलब क्या है? Contract. C-O-N-T-R-A-C-T. Contract. So, this is just the opposite of what? Expand. Expand. So, when a particular person is contracting, you cannot see that the person is contracting, but the person is shriveled up means his is D-R-I, dried up means the person is not having any emotion, means the absence of emotion. Have you got it, my dear children? I suppose you got it beautifully. So, my dear children, here you see. So, in this lesson, we will get to know about 4 characters. You see, how many characters, major characters are there? So, you see, there are characters. Number 1, there is Frank. Number 2, there is Tableau. Number 3, there is Millie. M-I-L-L-I-E. Millie. C-R-O-C-K-E-R. Crocker. H-A-R-R-I-S-H. Crocker-Harris. Crocker-Harris. H is not there. And then there is Crocker-Harris, Mr. C-R-O-C-K-E-R. Crocker, H-A-R-R-I-S. Crocker-Harris. So, these are the 4 major characters. Number 1, Tableau. Tableau is into the lower 5th class. He is in the lower 5th form. He is into the form and his form is the lower 5th. Okay, he is in the 5th. So, in the United Kingdom, the classes are into the form of the form. So, he is in the 5th form. He is aged 16 means he will be in our education system. He will be in class 10. When after class 10 we decide whether the child will take to the science or arts or humanities or commerce. So, in the similar manner, or Tableau also intends to study science after getting the certificate or the remove. That means here we will see this Tableau is very much dominant character. He is a very much dominant character. So, it is he who on the last day of the academic session came there in order to do some extra work that will be given by Crocker-Harris. Crocker-Harris is the middle as a teacher, and he was a very strict teacher, and every children very much were afraid of him. And Frank is the new teacher. He was a very much envied. Okay, he very much envied Crocker-Harris because of the effect, because of the kind of impression that he was having on the children in the form or in the class. Therefore, he was certainly jealous of Crocker-Harris. So, on the basis of this G-R-O-U-S, grouse, what he did, he was actually inspiring our Tableau to tell something about Crocker-Harris, but Crocker-Harris was described by Tableau, and both the side of him, whether the positive or the negative, was described by Tableau. That means it is the balanced personality of a Crocker-Harris that comes to the light in the description, in the flowery description of Tableau in this particular drama. Therefore, so we'll start with the drama. Let us see the drama. So you see, so initial lines will start here. So this is an you see, this is an excerpt or this is an extract. Excerpt means this is an extract, E-X-T-R-A-C-T, extract. From the Browning version, means the original was Browning version, and from there it is an extract. It is taken from the scene is set in a school. Okay, means this is the setting, the particular place where the story starts. This is the setting. Setting is in a school, school, and the school will be certainly in where, in the United Kingdom. And the time was, what was the time? The year was 1948, and it was 6:30 or after that. Frank is a young, and Crocker-Harris immediately is a teacher. Frank is a teacher and he's a young teacher. He joined newly, and Crocker is a teacher, and both are masters, means both are teacher. Taplow is a boy of 16 who has come to do extra work for Crocker-Harris. So he came to the school in order to do some extra work for Crocker-Harris, because when he was ill, owing to his illness or due to his illness, he could not attend the class. Therefore, Crocker-Harris gave a punishment to stay back after the school. But the letter has not yet arrived, and Frank finds Taplow waiting. Therefore, you can understand the particular pictorial dramatic situation. So you will see that there is somebody is waiting. Who is that waiting? It is our Taplow. It is our Taplow, who is a 16 years old boy. He is waiting there, and he is waiting for whom? Crocker-Harris. And he meets whom? He meets with Frank. Who is a Frank? Frank is a new teacher. So what he teaches? He teaches science. Now, from this conversation, now we will come to understand that in this particular lesson. So this is the dialogue or the conversation between our Frank and Taplow. From this conversation, we can understand the kind of the impression, kind of the talk that goes on in the children, particularly the student, about the teacher, and whether it is justified or not. What according to you, when you are talking about your teacher, giving some nickname, and discussing about the teacher, some crazy behavior of the teacher, is it right? Is it justified? No, it is not justified. Whatever the teacher does, the teacher may be, many a time he may be very strict with you, but whatever he does for your betterment. Therefore giving this sort of nickname and the other is in a big question mark. That means you will have to think about it. Therefore, now let us see. So in this lesson, we will come to understand that this is the conversation between Taplow and Frank, and both of them were conversing, and one is very much jealous, and other one does not like the particular subject that is taught by the teacher, who is asking him to wait for the extra work. Okay. Therefore, you will see that it is not the one-sided personality of the teacher that is expressed through the conversation of Taplow, but it is the full personality, the positive, negative, all the side, or the character is very beautifully illustrated, beautifully explained. Now let us see some of the starting lines here, and after that we will go for the analysis. Frank, do I know you? Let us see the Frank, the teacher, new teacher, is asking, do I know you? Taplow, no sir. Frank, what is your name? Taplow, Frank, Taplow, no, I don't. You are not a scientist, I gather. That means I understand that you are not in science. Therefore, I do not know, because I am a teacher who teaches science. Taplow, no sir, I am still in the lower fifth. I cannot specialist until next term. That is to say, if I have got my remove alright. That means as soon as I get my remove, then I can think of. And if I do not get, then I cannot specialize, means I cannot opt for science, commerce, humanities or other special subject or the branch of study. Therefore, Frank, don't you know if you have got your remove? So the teacher is asking, so do not know whether you are going to get the certificate or not, whether you are going to be promoted or not. No, sir. Mr. Crocker-Harris doesn't tell us the result like the other masters. Here you see. Now that the conversation starts, so here we find Mr. Crocker-Harris. So he is the person who is having so much of effect, so much of influence, so much of show into the mind of the teacher and the student. So he is not there present in the scene, but he is having dominant role to play. So he is telling, now see, Tapla is telling. Tapla actually trying to contrast his character with the other teacher character of the other teacher. He tells, sir, you cannot think of Crocker-Harris. Crocker-Harris certainly is a man of principle. He will not be sacrificing, or he will not at any moment relinquish or give up the law, because he is a law abiding person, and therefore only after or on the particular date the result will be given, not before that, because he is a man of principle. So here you will see in the last part, you will see that the reference of within the play is Robert Brown's translation of the Greek tragedy Agamemnon. So here you will understand that. So this particular original tragedy is Agamemnon, written by Aeschylus, Aeschylus. Aeschylus wrote Agamemnon. Agamemnon is the king. He is the major character, and he was cheated very badly by the wife Clytemnestra. Okay, and here also we'll get to know Crocker-Harris has the wife. Her name was Mcq Crocker-Harris, and she was almost the copy of the wife of Agamemnon. Therefore, this one is the modern version or the modern type of the original one, and therefore the title Robert Browning is very suitable or appropriate. So this is the start of the lesson. In this way the conversation continues, and we'll understand this conversation through our discussion of the summary, and after the summary we'll be directly going to the MCQ, and we'll be discussing how many MCQs? We'll be discussing 30 number of MCQs. Here you go. Let's continue. So as you have seen in this lesson, we'll be discussing about the introduction to the lesson. We have already discussed the character of the lesson, and then the summary, and then the MCQ question. And if time allows us, some short answer type questions. Let us go for it. So here we go. Let us continue. So these are the picture. These are the image of the writer. The name of the writer is Ratigan. Okay, Terence Ratigan. Terence Marvin Ratigan. So let us see the writer. Sir Terence Marvin Ratigan was a British dramatist. He was one of England's most popular 20th century dramatist. He was born on 9th June 1911 in South Kensington, London, United Kingdom. His father was Frank Ratigan, CMG, a diplomat. Ratigan too was educated at Sandyred School and Harrow School. He then went to the Trinity College, Oxford. So this is all about the brief schooling and birth of the writer Terence Ratigan. So then let us continue. Let us continue with the introduction. So here you see the introduction. This play highlights the attitude of the teenage student towards his teacher. This is quite important, my dear children. So in this lesson actually highlights what? The attitude of the teenage children, teenage students toward the teacher. His comments are shocking because they are very close to the reality. So we are talking about Tapla. He is a teenage child or student, and he is giving some remark, and these remarks are very much shocking. Why they are shocking? Because they touches reality. He imitates the voice of Crocker-Harris. He calls the man almost inhuman. So he tells the teacher is hardly human, means almost inhuman, means he's not having human values or human qualities, human virtue. He's mortally afraid of his teacher. He's greatly afraid of the teacher. His promotion depends on the whims or the goodwill of the teacher. Whims of the teacher. If he so wills, then the promotion may be actualized or translated. Otherwise not. But he opens up when the other science teacher encourages him to do so. So when the other teacher, that is Frank, he encourages to open the heart in front of him, taking him into confidence, then he opens and he begins to reveal about, he begins to express about his opinion about the teacher. He hates the Greek play because he doesn't like the teacher's method of teaching. Now see. So he is telling that, so when he was keeping a book, name of the book was Agamemnon, written by Aeschylus, and it is a Greek classic or the Greek tragedy. The plot is very nice. Okay, the plot or the storyline is very nice. The character also very nice. Here we can find that the wife is murdering the husband. Okay, this plot is very nice, very convincing, very persuading. But the thing that actually makes other very much uninteresting or boring is that there are lot of words, lot of Latin words are put there, and because of this Latin, one cannot understand the whole content, and particularly the manner of teaching, or that the teacher also is quite dull, quite uninteresting, and therefore he tells to another teacher that he does not like at all the way of the teaching of the teacher. The description of the teacher is damaging. It reflects upon the hopeless quality of a teacher. So this description actually damages or murders the reputation of the teacher, and it reflects the real state of the teacher. So now let us continue. Let us continue with the characters. So we have already discussed the character. How many characters are there? So this is the kind of the division. Let us see Mr. Crocker-Harris. So he is the character. He is not seen in the play, but he is very much dominant. He is very strict and disciplined teacher. He is very strict and disciplined teacher. Mr. Frank, he is a science teacher. Tapla, a student of 16. Millie, wife of Crocker-Harris. Now let us see the gist of the lesson. So we are to go for the gist of the lesson. This play is an extract from Terence Ratigan's play, the Browning version. It is the last day at a school. While all the other students have left after school time, Tapla has to stay behind. He has been given extra work to do because he has been ill for a day during the week and missed the class. His teacher, Mr. Crocker-Harris, has told him that he would come at 6:30 and see the work done by him. It is already 6:40 and Mr. Crocker-Harris hasn't come yet. That means he is late by 10 minutes. The teacher is late by 10 minutes. The student already arrived. Okay, it is 6:40 now. Another teacher named Frank comes there. He says, Taplow waiting for Mr. Crocker-Harris. He tells Taplow that he should go because Mr. Crocker-Harris hasn't arrived so far. Now, Mr. Frank is encouraging Taplow that as the teacher is not punctual, he is not in time, therefore he can simply cut. He simply can go. But Taplow doesn't dare to do that. Frank feels jealous to see that students hold Mr. Crocker-Harris in such fear. So when he encourages him to go away, then he said that no sir, I cannot do that. If I do that, he will be going to my home. Okay, therefore I cannot dare to do that. And after this, Mr. Frank feel very much jealous of the teacher. He encourages Taplow to make fun of Mr. Crocker-Harris. So while both of them are talking, it is Mr. Frank who actually encourages Taplow to make fun of Crocker-Harris, who is absent in the scene. In the meantime, Mrs. Crocker-Harris comes there. She says that her husband has gone somewhere and it would take quite some time to come back. She asked Taplow to go and play until Mr. Crocker-Harris comes. Still, Taplow is afraid to go. She says that she will take the blame on herself and send Taplow to a chemist to get some medicine. Clearly, her chief purpose is not to get the medicine but to help the poor boy enjoy freedom for some time. So here we find character number 4, that is Mrs. Crocker-Harris, that is Millie Crocker-Harris. Millie Crocker-Harris saw that Taplow is waiting and she was very much sympathetic or pitiful, and therefore out of pity she told her that he can go to play and she will take the blame for it if Mr. Crocker-Harris comes. Even then Taplow was not willing to go. Then what she did? Millie sent Taplow with a prescription to go to the druggist and bring some medicine. So this is the gist of the lesson. Now let us see the full summary, and when you understand the full summary, it will be very much helpful to go for the MCQ. Let us go for it. This is an excerpt from Terence Ratigan's play The Browning Version. The scene is set in a good school in the United Kingdom. Taplow, a boy of 16, has come to do extra work for his master, Mr. Crocker-Harris. He has not yet arrived. Another master, Frank, younger in years than Mr. Crocker-Harris, finds Taplow waiting. Incidentally, it is the last day of the term. Taplow is a student of the lower 5th form. He doesn't know whether he will get his division or remove all right or not. He tells Frank that Mr. Crocker-Harris doesn't tell them the result like the other masters. Frank informs Taplow that there is a rule that form result should only be announced by the headmaster on the last day of the term. Taplow says that no one except Mr. Crocker-Harris pays attention to it. That means from this description of Taplow, we come to understand that Crocker-Harris is a very law-abiding person. He respects law, and according to the law, he gives the result on the last day of the term. Then let us see the next. Frank then asks Taplow what he would like to study if his result is favorable. Taplow indicates his preference for science. Frank remarks that they get all the slackers into the science. All the slackers means slow learners, means those who perform very worse in the previous exams. Taplo disagrees with him and says that he is extremely interested in science. Frank observes frankly that he is not interested in the science he is to teach. Now here, when this discussion is going on, this Frank teacher, he very frankly or candidly, very freely, he tells that I am teaching science, and frankly speaking, I do not like the subject that I teach. Taplo, on the other hand, finds study of the Greek of Agamemnon and Mcq. So on the other hand, Taplo tells that this book Agamemnon, the study of this book is totally worthless. His objection is to the way the play is taught to them. Just a lot of Greek words strung together into 50 lines if one gets them wrong. So his objection is that there is a plentiness of the Greek words and the Latin words, and more particularly the way it is taught, that is also quite boring or dull. Taplo's answers show that he is feeling a bit bitter. Frank is surprised that Taplo has come to do extra work even on the last day of the school. Taplo says that he missed a day last week when he was ill, so he has to put in extra work. That the weather is quite fine and he might be playing golf. He knows that Mr. Crocker-Harris must be quite busy then, as he is leaving the school for good the next day. Now see, very interesting part of it is that, so Crocker-Harris is leaving the school for good, means he is maybe he is getting transferred. He is getting transferred. He is leaving the school forever. On the next day, even then on the last day of the term, Taplo came to do some extra work for Crocker-Harris, and that is quite surprising for Mr. Frank, to be very frank. Now let us see the next paragraph. The conversation then shifted to Mr. Crocker-Harris. Now it is the time for directing their conversation to the Crocker-Harris. Taplo had asked him the previous day if he had given him good division, and he said that he had given Taplo exactly what he deserved, no less and certainly no more. Taplo is afraid that he might have marked him down rather than up for taking extra work. Now see. So it was Frank who said that, Master Taplo, when you come to do some extra work for your teacher Crocker-Harris, certainly Crocker-Harris will give you some extra mark. So he told it in order to get the truth out from his heart. And then what Taplo said was very much surprising. What he said, sir, you cannot believe Crocker-Harris. So he may mark me down because of the extra work I am doing. He will certainly not give me extra mark or some good mark. Therefore, I am very much afraid that he may give me less mark. The man is hardly human, means he is not having human quality like sympathy, pity, and other fellow feelings. Frank then encouraged Taplo to repeat the remark of Mr. Crocker-Harris. So he was just aping, So Master Taplo was imitating the throaty voice of the teacher. So when he was asking for some extra mark or the result in advance, then he was telling that Master Taplo, I will give you exactly what you deserve, not less or not more. He was telling it in a very rough, throaty, harsh voice, and that was repeated by Taplo in front of Frank, and Mr. Frank was encouraging Taplo in order to repeat the same because he likes that he will get some he will get some bad name in the school. Therefore, criticizing other people, okay, was liked, and therefore Frank also liked the criticism. Frank doesn't find his imitation up to the mark and asks him to read his Aeschylus and be quiet. So Frank was telling that your imitation is not up to the mark, and therefore it is better that you read the book Aeschylus that is there with you, and be quiet. Then let us see the next paragraph. Frank suggested to Taplow that he might cut the class and play golf, and Mr. Crocker-Harris has not turned off. Now see, Mr. Frank actually encourages the student because he is very much jealous of the other teacher, and therefore he was telling that you can simply go away. You see that the weather is so pleasant. You are missing the day, beautiful day. You could have played golf. Okay, so beautiful and entertaining day. Therefore, you can go and simply you can go on to the reason that the teacher is not in time and he is late by 10 minutes. Let us go. Taplow is shocked at the suggestion as he couldn't think of ever doing so. Frank conveys Mr. Crocker-Harris for the effect he has on the boys. They seem scared of day. Taplow says that Croc is not a sadist like other masters. He would not be so frightening if he were. It would then seem that he had some feeling. He seems dry like nut and hates people to like him. Now see, some other qualities of the teacher Crocker-Harris is expressed through the opinion of or through the description of Taplow. Taplow says that Croc is not a sadist. Okay, now he is telling a positive point. So he is telling that sir, you should not think that our teacher Crocker-Harris is a sadist. He doesn't actually get a pleasure just by inflicting pain or giving pain on the other people. He is not a sadist. Like other masters, there are some other masters just by punishing the children, they derive the pleasure. But it is not like that. So it is also a kind of contrast of the character. He would not be so frightening if he were. It would then seem that he had some feelings. He seems to dry like nut and hates the people to like him. So now, as nuts are very dry, he is also very dry. Means he is not having any kind of what? He is not having any kind of feelings. He is a man without any feelings. This is also a negative quality that is described by Taplow about his teacher. Still, Taplow likes him. Now see, Taplow tells that he is not having any feeling, and if you like him, and if he comes to know that, then he will be what? He will be simply shrinking or becoming smaller in size. He will not express the same. But in spite of all this negative quality that I talked about, my teacher, I like my teacher. I cannot but help. I cannot help loving my teacher. Means without loving my teacher, I cannot help. Sometimes Mr. Crocker-Harris sees it and he shrivels up even more. So our master Taplow tells that. So sometimes he understands that yes, my student actually like me, and when he get or understand this feeling, then he become shrivel up. He become what? He actually contracts more. Okay, he shrinks, S-H-R-I-N-K, shrinks even more. He even shrinks even more. Not expanding, just the opposite of it, contract or shrinking, becoming smaller in size. Then let us see the next part. Here we go. Let's see. Taplow then relates an incident when his master related one of the classical jokes in the class. So now there is one reference of the joke that was told by the teacher. Teacher is Crocker-Harris. Nobody laughed as if they could not understand it. Taplow laughed as he knew he had meant it as funny. So nobody in the class understood the joke, and therefore nobody laughed. And now our Taplow, so he out of pity, out of sympathy, and the pity for the teacher, what he did, and out of courtesy, what he did, he began to laugh. And after seeing Taplow laugh, then again to the teacher, Crocker-Harris asked the question. So what was the question? Master Taplow, I suppose you understood the joke. That means your Latin has got a lot of improvement. Therefore, would you please tell the class the joke so that they can also enjoy it? Therefore, let us see. He felt sorry for his master for having made such poor joke. So he felt that the master actually made a very poor joke, and therefore he felt very much of pity, and he began to laugh in order to show sympathy in order to show empathy on the teacher. Taplow has forgotten the joke, but offers to imitate the reaction of Mr. Crocker-Harris, the laughter of Mr. Frank encouraged Taplow to do so. Frank seems to enjoy the joke and asks Taplow to tell it to others. Therefore, this joke was asked to be repeated by Frank, because Frank actually enjoys the manner in which the joke is repeated by Taplow. The joke that is repeated by Taplow in the manner in which the teacher told it. Therefore, let us continue now. Now we are coming to the last part of the ceremony. So we see when these two people were waiting at the time. At that time, one person was listening to the conversation, and this listener was no other than Mcq Crocker-Harris. Was Mcq Crocker-Harris? Mcq Crocker-Harris was the wife of Crocker-Harris. Therefore, let us see. Let us go for it. In the meanwhile, or in the meantime, Mcq Crocker-Harris enters. Frank and Taplow are surprised to see her. Why they are surprised? Because they were talking about, they were gossiping, they were talking ills about Crocker-Harris, and that was heard by Mcq Crocker-Harris, who was the wife of the teacher. Taplow is afraid that she might have overheard their joke. So Taplow was very much afraid that Mcq Crocker-Harris might have seen the way it is acted, that the joke that was told by the teacher is acted in front of another teacher. Okay, that is making fun of the joke. Okay, that is heard and understood by Mcq Crocker-Harris. If she told her husband that Taplow's division would be in danger, then in front of Frank, Taplow tells her that if Millie understand and heard about it and report it to the teacher, then his remove goes. Means he will not be getting the remove. Frank dismisses his fear. Frank tells that your fear is not logical. Millie tells Taplow that her husband is at Bursar's, okay, at the shop of Bursar, and might be there quite a time. She says that if she were Taplow, she would go. Now see, here we understand about the sympathetic quality of Millie. Millie was in the position of Taplow, and she was very much empathetic on Taplow, and told that had I been in your position, then I would have gone and enjoyed the day. Taplow is filled with doubt. Taplow now still then not confirmed. So he was very much hesitant. He says that Crocker-Harris has specially asked him to return. So he told him specially to come on that particular day. Millie then suggested that he might run out for a quarter of an hour and come back. Then Millie suggested that he can go for 15 minutes. For 15 minutes to the shop of the druggist, and from there he can bring some medicine. Taplo is still uncertain and to wonder what will happen if he gets there before his arrival. Millie offers to take the blame. Then also Taplo was very much afraid. So he was very much doubtful. He was very much doubtful that if in his absence the teacher comes and sees him absent, then what will happen? He was afraid of that. Then Millie offers to take the blame. He was telling that, okay, I shoulder the blame. I take the blame. Okay, whatever will happen, so I will manage it. She then hands him over a prescription and asks him to go to the chemist and get it made up. Then Millie told him that he will bring some medicine, okay, medicine from the druggist. Thus, he can do a job for him. Taplo agrees and leaves the room. So, in this way, what we see is that we see with the exit of Taplo, the play ends. We see that the Taplo goes to the medicine shop, or to the pharmacy or to the druggist in order to get some drugs or medicine for Mcq Questions, and the lesson ends here. Now let us go to the MCQ questions. Here you go. Let us continue. Okay, now so this MCQ now will be a kind of revision for you, my dear children. It will be a kind of revision, is not it? Because we have learned everything. Okay, so this will be a kind of revision for you, and I'll be giving you the PDF also so that you can download, print out, and you can read it again. Who has written the Browning version? Browning version is written by Terence Ratigan. We have shown you the picture also. Terence Ratigan. Who are the three characters of the play, the Browning version? So here you see. So you have already seen there is Taplo, Frank, and Mr. Crocker-Harris. Okay, option C is correct. Now let us go for the next question, number 3. Question number 3. What is the age of Taplo? 14? No. 20? No. 5? Not at all. He's in the lower 5th. So just like our class 10, that means he is a teenager, he is 16. What does a Frank do? Frank do means the profession. What is the profession or becoming? उनका profession क्या है? He is a student? No. Teacher? Yes. Principal? No. Parent? No. Who is a Mr. Crocker-Harris? Mr. Crocker-Harris you have already known. He is a middle-aged school teacher, not simple teacher, not principal. Do not know, cannot be. Therefore, let us go for the next question. Let us go for the next question, number 6. What is the starting scene of the play set? Yeah, both interesting. Means we are asked about what? We are asked about the setting of the play. Setting का मतलब क्या है? That the particular play is in which the story starts. So this starting is a school, a very sophisticated school in the United Kingdom. A school classroom, yes, very much. School playground नहीं हो सकता है. Home no, road no. Number 7. What was the Taplo doing on the last day of the school? So it was the last day of the term, and Taplo was waiting there for some extra work. Yes. Time pass no. Cannot say no. Completing homework no. Question number next 8. Let us go for question number 8. In which class does Taplo study in? Very simple. We have already studied it. Lower 5th. Exactly correct. Lower 5th. He was studying in lower 5th, not 7th, not 9th, not lower 10th. Why does the Taplo have to do extra work? किस लिए करना पड़ रहा है? Because he was suffering from illness. Because he missed his previous week due to his illness, correct? Because he did not performed well in the studies. Because he was there to help his teacher. Because he was called by his teacher. Right answer is option A is correct. Let us see number 10. Why does the Taplo want to sign as A. Remove. Science as a remove. Promotion. Promotion to science section or stream. Because he has no option. Option to the. Because he finds science subject extremely interesting. Correct. Because he is confused. No. Cannot say no. Number 11. Let us see. Question number 11. Why did Taplow call Mr. Crocker-Harris hardly human? Let us see the literal meaning. Hardly human means not having human quality. वही हमको देखना है. Means this question is related to the vocabulary. Because he is a sadist? No. Because he is a tribal type? Yes. He is a bright up. Means he is person with lack of emotion. Emotion minus. Therefore, the answer B is correct. He is very rude to everyone. No. He finds peace in failing students. No. Therefore, option number B. He is all tribal up means he is emotionless. What book was Taplow reading? What is the name of the book? The name of the book was history textbook. No. Agamemnon, correct. Agamemnon written by Aeschylus. Not Julius Caesar, not English novel. At what time was Mr. Harris supposed to come to school? 6:30 exactly. 6:30, not 7, 11, 12. Let us come to next number 14. Let us come to question number 14. Why was Frank jealous of? Jealous, we got this word envy. He was very much envious. ENVIOUS. Envious of Crocker-Harris because of the effect, as you know. Because of the effect he has on the student, correct? Because of his fame, because he was a senior school teacher, because he has paid well. No. That means option A is correct. What short name does the Taplow call Mr. Crocker-Harris in his absence? Okay. So Taplow became very much bitter, and he was telling the short name, and particularly the nickname that was given. Short and the nickname that was given, Crock, making sound, lot of sound, crocking sound. Therefore, the short name was Crock, not Harris, not Crocker, not teacher. Let's see next question. How does a Taplow react when Mr. Crocker-Harris cracked a joke in the class? Now only we studied. He laughed. He ignored it. He asked him what it meant. He did nothing. So option number A is correct. He laughed out of simple pity on the teacher. Let us see number 17. Let us see the number 17. What is the name of Crocker-Harris' wife? We have already learned Mcq Questions. Therefore, option number A is correct. When did Mrs. Crocker-Harris enter the classroom? So we are talking about Mrs. Crocker-Harris when Taplow and Frank were discussing Mr. Harris. Yes, exactly. When no one was in the classroom. No. With Crocker-Harris, no. When only Taplow was in the classroom. Therefore, option number A is correct. How do you describe Mcq Questions? Now you are giving the characterization of Mcq Questions. Okay, so you are telling about the physical description. We are talking about the physical description. We are not talking about the inner personality. So she was the thin woman, late 30s, smartly dressed. So then she is more smartly dressed than the general run of the school teacher. Fat? No. Thin woman? No. Thin woman smartly dressed? No. In the late 40s, in the late 30s. So this gives the real description of the teacher's wife. Now let us see question number 20. Question number 20. Who said the lines, "Come along, Taplo, do not be so selfish or to keep a good joke to yourself"? So who said it? So you remember? So the speaker here is Mr. Frank. Mr. Frank was trying to encourage Taplo in order to tell the joke that was made by Crocker-Harris in the class. Therefore, the speaker here is Frank. Let us see question number next question is question number 21. Let's see the question. Why was Taplo worried that Mrs. Crocker-Harris might have heard what they were saying? Don't know, cannot be. As she heard them talking about principal, no. As she interrupted them talking about his husband, no. No interruption was seen there. There are some distance. Maybe she was overhearing. Overhear means from at a distance the hearing was made. That is called overhearing. As she has been standing for a few minutes when they were busy talking. Therefore, option A is correct. As she had been standing for quite a few minutes when they were busy talking. Let us see next question number 22. What was the Millie carrying when she entered the classroom? Millie? What was Millie carrying? So a basket was there, book was not there, needs was not there, flowers were not there. Therefore, option A is very correct. Let us see the next one, number 23. Where was Mrs. Crocker-Harris? Where was Mr. Crocker-Harris? Crocker-Harris went to Bushers. Bushers means this you see the possessive means it may be the shop of Bushers. Okay, is Bushers shop. It may be Bushers inn, or it may be any kind of a business institution. Therefore, this is the correct answer. We know, not at home, market, library. No. What did Millie suggest to Taplo in her husband's absence? Millie's suggestion to the Taplo was. So you remember, now only we have discussed that had I been in your position, I would have bunked, I would have gone out. To go to the chemist. Finally, we will see. So prescription was given, and then he was told that you can do a favor, you can get the medicine for your teacher. Go to the chemist and to get her prescription filled, means some medicine to be brought. To go to his home, no. To pray God, no. To wait, no. Means the option A is very much correct. Number 25, let us see number 25. Does the Taplo think that Mr. Crocker-Harris is biased? So here you see, when we are talking about the biased means what? Partial. Whether he is a partial, when Taplo was talking or discussing with a friend, then had he told it that he is very partial, he is telling no, he is not at all partial. So he will be he is telling. So he will be giving exactly what he got, not neither less nor more. So that means he is not a kind of sadist. He is not a kind of sadist. Therefore, he is not a biased person. He is a very balanced person, not biased but balanced. He is a very balanced person. Balanced. Therefore, option will be no will be correct. Yes will be wrong. Maybe I cannot say. Option B is correct. Number 26. Let us see how is Mr. Crocker-Harris different from other teachers. Now see. So when our Taplo was discussing, then he actually makes some contrast, So he makes some contrast with other teacher. So when we talk about the contrast means what? When you are comparing two things, when you find that there is a difference between these two, then that is called the contrast. So here also we will see that Crocker-Harris is differentiated or contrasted with other teachers. teachers. Therefore, what is that? That he is not a biased. What is that? He is not sadist. Okay? Therefore, option A is correct. As he is not biased, as he is strict, as he is old, as he is rude. That means this is the positive quality that Tapla told about the teacher. Now let us see the next question, number 27. How did Frank react upon the arrival of Mr. Crocker-Harris? How did Frank react upon the arrival of Mrs. Crocker-Harris? So what was the kind of the reaction? He was happy, not at all. He was nervous. We do not know exactly. He was relieved. He was relieved. He was relieved. Why he was relieved? Because at least what will happen? The weight will go. Therefore, he was relieved. Now let us see the next question. Let us see the next question, number 28. Who was Agamemnon? Now this is the basic. This is the basic. The lesson is based on what? Agamemnon. Agamemnon was the drama or the play, Greek play written by Aeschylus. He was the major character, and he was a king. He was American astrologer, not at all. He was an Egyptian king, no. He was the king of Mycenae in Greek mythology. Do not know. Therefore, option number C is very correct. What does the remove mean in the chapter? Now, this question is related to the vocabulary. Meaning is asked. Therefore, you should know. We have already discussed. A division or a grade. A division or a grade in British schools or United Kingdom schools. Take away something not at all. Unfasten no. Get rid of no. Means option A is very correct. That means here remove is used as how? It is used as noun. How does Mr. Crocker-Harris come to the school into the play? How does Mr. Crocker-Harris come to the school into the play? Does Mr. Crocker-Harris come to the school into the play? So when we are talking about Crocker-Harris, so do you physically see him present in the school? Option B, no. That means physically we do not see the presence of Mr. Crocker-Harris, even though his personality was very magnetic type of personality. His personality was very magnetic type of personality, means very much impressive. He actually has a pulling power, and because of that, somebody was very much envious, somebody was giving the nickname, and the people were discussing and discoursing about him. Therefore, he was a person. He was the person of the town, and he was the talk of the town, and everybody was talking because he was having the magnetic or charismatic quality, or he was having the magnetic personality. Therefore, my dear children, I suppose your understanding and appreciation of the lesson is over with this full discussion along with the MCQ of this lesson. Okay, let us conclude this lesson here today. We'll meet you in the next video. Till then, bye bye and have a very good day.